Hello, our Dynamics community. It's your host, Mariana, here to welcome you to the Dynamics Show, where personal development meets daily life. On this podcast, you know there's no one-size-fits-all path in life, which is why each episode is crafted for you to align with your own dynamic self on your terms. Our journey here is filled with options, opportunities, and infinite possibilities. So let's uncover the reason you are here, because you'll always hear what you need to, and explore what is possible together. Today, our discussion recording will be about exploring the subject of family dynamics, and I have the pleasure of being joined by my mother, my 92-year young mother. So welcome, Rhoda.
Thank you, Mariana.
She doesn't like when I say her age, but I think she should be very proud of it because she's in great, beautiful wellness and great sharp mind. Why the subject of family is because it's one of our core life dynamics, and who better than to do a family dynamics recording about than with my actual family, since I'm with them in person for this recording. I just always like to set the tone for our time together because it's more than just a podcast. We are here to remind you that flowing through each one of us is a dynamic energy that is ours to use every single day. That's why the day in dynamics is capitalized. It is a daily choice to live dynamically. So let's take a moment to center ourselves. Take a deep breath in and out, and be fully present. Listen with an open heart and an open mind, since we know what we focus on expands. So, Mama, family. What does family mean to you?
Family means the world to me. My family, especially because they're kind, they're loving, they're anything that I ever wanted them to be, and I'm very fortunate to have them.
Yes. Family means to you the world, which is a beautiful compliment to us. And I know this is just on audio, so people can't see you, but I could see my mom tearing up when she was saying that. So I know that emotionally that answer means a lot to her. And I hope that our audience feels like family means something to them as well. There's so many definitions, and if you haven't listened to them all, then please go to dynamicseries.com, go to dynamics, look up family dynamics. And we've done a few things, few definitions and all that stuff, because we always start with a base definition of what subject matter means and then extend from that. So we've done that a few times already, so please use that as a resource. So is there anything else that you want to share that family means to you now that you've had a time to process that a little bit?
Just thinking having a family is the reason I'm here. Their father and I made 3 beautiful children, and that's it.
Aw, you make me tear up. Thanks, Mama. That's sweet. That's sweet. So my mama, which I call Mama Bear a lot of times, is Rhoda, and we're so pleased that she's on this podcast. The second question we have for her today is, what values or lessons do you hope that you pass down to your children, grandchildren, and in your case, great-grandchildren?
When I started when you asked me the question at first, I went back to, I believe you were in maybe grade 9, 10 maybe, or so, and we were doing the dishes. And I was washing, you were drying, and the question came up about something about school. What would you want to be? Some questionnaire as to what the future, what the school thought you should be or whatever. I think it was a form you had to fill out. And I can remember telling you that you could be anything and everyone, love everyone that you wanted to. But the thing is, you had to make the decision as to what your thoughts were, not when your buddy wanted you to be a nurse, somebody else wanted you to be something else. No, it had to be what you yourself wanted to be. You were in high school, you were learning, and you were smart, and you could pick up on just about anything, and you knew where you had an idea of what you wanted to be, but you were adventurous and you were eager to do things and learn things. And so I told you, it's just like the dishes, like I wash, you dry. We're sharing, but we're also sharing the thought that we are, we're together, and you're telling it to me that you want to do something, but you don't know what you want to be. But this bulletin told you there was examples, like you could be a dental assistant, you could be something else, I forget now.
A dentist, a doctor, like anything.
Anything you wanted to be.
Yeah.
But you wanted to travel, I think, from early, because you were very anxious to see things, and I don't know, you were just very adventurous and ambitious too.
Right. So what value or lesson did you think that you taught me with that, is just to be who
to be who you really wanted to be naturally.
Yeah.
It was the same thing with life, and you seemed to like the idea that I could be anything and that nobody could put me down.
Well, they could, but
they could put you down, yeah. But it had to be a very good reason and a purpose, and they had to prove anything that they said against you. I wouldn't take any foolishness from anyone.
Right.
And that.
Well, that was definitely one of the lessons that we learned, was just, to stand up for who we were and not necessarily have to believe what anyone else said about us, because people are going to say things that they say, and it's for us. We were taught it doesn't matter. We don't have to approve, or we don't have to get approval outside of ourselves. It starts from within. And then what about some lessons, like your grandkids? You have your grandkids, your great grandkids here. So what do you feel that some of the values that they say, where they go, oh, we do this because of you, Graham, or my dad is no longer with us here on this physical world. I know for me, the strength that you didn't have to speak a lot. Like you could say everything by being silent and just listening, and then respond when it was necessary. Like that's what I think my dad brought through from a values and the lessons, and that family was important to him, and that he would do what was necessary to provide for the family and to make sure that we had a good unit.
Yes, and like he would sit back and listen to everything.
Yes.
Any conversation, and he wouldn't say much, but when he said it, I mean, anyone that was there would say, well, you had the right answer, but you didn't say much. Well, sometimes it isn't, but that's a great lesson that Dad taught us, is that verbal diarrhea with words is, the more words you say, or is not necessarily as valuable as saying less, because you've listened. Right,
well, right for him, right for them maybe, but just more for me, it's like really listening to somebody. And because I do these resources through Dynamic Series, I tend to want to share some of the resources if someone's having an issue and problem. And I really realized this trip is, do you want me to just listen to you, or do you want me to try to help you? because a lot of times people just want to be heard and they don't necessarily want to be helped. And that was a lesson too that I've learned along the way from Dad about listening. And from you, I mean, I can answer some of the stuff, but the value of being a good person.
Yes, very. Oh, I'm a chatterbox at times.
But it doesn't matter what the value that you had. It was about being a good person.
Oh,
no matter if you talked a lot or not.
My main thing that I hope and still hope that I know that you have is always, my mother taught me when anything bothered me, sometime we'd have a chat and I'd say, oh, I just get so discouraged with some people because they're not true people. And my mother always said, well, I've learned a lesson through the years. And she said, that was, you treat people the way you want to be treated. You treat them the way, like if you meet someone new and you like them or you think you like them, be polite and everything like that. Some people you meet and you just can't show any feeling because there's nothing there. So what you do is basically just say hi, how do you do? I'm so glad to meet you, what have you. You don't have to make a big deal of it, but just be true to act right, act properly, and be polite. And I hope that's what the children learn to be. Treat them the way, another person, the way that you would want to be treated by them.
Or by anyone.
Or anyone.
The bigger thing that I took from that, as far as I am only responsible for me.
Oh, right.
So I can act like I want to treat them the way that I want to be treated, but sometimes you're not. So you still have to stay in your own integrity around that. If someone is not that person or not, you just bless them. I just bless them. Bless you. There must be something going on in your life that you feel like if I'm kind to you and you're not kind back, that, there's something going on for you. The lesson too is by you caring sometimes about what people think of you has really taught me the lesson that I don't. So the lessons, that's a really good point though, because the values and lessons that you have, that you hope that you're passing down to your child, is maybe something that they don't appreciate or like, because everyone has their own life path and everyone can choose what's right for them. So sometimes the values and lessons that parent or grandparent or whatever is passing down is only from what they've known and what they've experienced and what they've been taught. But then we as children have the right to choose what we want for our own lives, right? Yeah. So let's go to question number 3. Thanks for that, Mama. How do you think family relationships in general have changed from when you were young to now? And I'm talking family relationships based off of the families that have had children or have stepchildren, adopted, whatever it might be in the family unit. From when you, Mom, were young, what did family relationships look like then?
When I was young, we lived in a house with my mother and father and my brother, two sisters and a brother. And we were always active, always doing things. And we had relatives that always stopped in. It was a very friendly family. My mother was always doing something for someone, helping with their babysitting or whatever. Or they brought the children to Mom and to mine when they were their younger children. And we helped there that way. But we were very close, as a family unit. And as I say, we were just a family.
And so who worked out of the house?
Well, Dad worked. He worked at the port, and it was a hard job. It was a winter and all year round job, but I mean, mostly in the winter time. It was the busiest. And he was on the go, and we often had he would bring people home for supper or something like this to that he was working with, that they had to work at night. He would bring them home, and Mom always found everything for them. So we were close, and we were very active in sports, my brother and my younger sister.
Right. So that was a family relationship, right?
Yeah.
So it sounded like it was very healthy and very active and okay. So what do you see the changes in family relationships now?
Well, I mean, my three children have grown. They've all married and they have children of their own, and some of them have to work, others don't. Now it's more or less with
The cost of everything,
cost of
yeah.
living and how everything has grown. It's like two parents, actually, if they have good jobs, and they're jobs that are that'll take them somewhere, that they can always have and keep them throughout their life as a job. If they have a job like that, so you have to have two people working actually now, and with everything that there's kindergarten, there's preschool, there's people built-in homemakers, there's everything that that it enables people to get out to work, but the children don't have the same. I can't say that because I've got beautiful grandchildren and great-grandchildren that I can't say that they didn't get any any care or anything, but they always had the best. They always had the love. That's one thing. There was always plenty of love in the family with my children and their children.
Yes.
And the love has grown from them and into the great-grandchildren, and like I can feel daily when they come here, that the love is there, and they still have it. So I don't know, some families can't do it, but I know I'm thankful that mine, they do, that the love is there, that they both work and they're working together. And they're working for the same thing for their family, and they're keeping their family happy and healthy. That's the main thing.
Right. And my feedback of that, even from younger years to now, is just like you brought up the cost of living and what you have to do, because some of them want big homes and this and that. So, and then you have to think about all the expenses, which is under the cost of living. And then you think, sometimes I find the difference between way back in your generation to now is that people didn't really divorce very much because, you guys were in it together and you did what it takes. And now sometimes it might just be easy, not easier is not the right word, but it's just, I see that a little bit more where people are different things where they bring in children and then they feel like they maybe have to be together or they have to get married. That was before. And now it's like, not necessarily do they have to get married.
No, they
and
don't
stuff.
have.
Or if they are together, what kind of lifestyle do they want? So maybe, like, I remember you being home when we were school age, and then Dad was out of the house. And then when had the ability to come home by ourselves and go in the house, you went out to the work because Dad had a medical concern. So then you were out of the house working. So, it's that combination.
Biggest thing that I noticed, and I'll still say it, and I'll always say it because it was so true. The thing is, when we got together, getting married and all this here business and stuff, we worked hard for what we got, and we saved up a little bit before we got married, and we picked up our furniture and a couple pieces of furniture. But that was early. But as we went on, even when the children came, and I'll take one instance as Christmas. Christmas time then, it was exciting when the Christmas catalog came. I met some friends, and we started to talk, and we all relived this moment of when the Christmas catalog came, Eaton's catalog came. And we would turn around, and that catalog meant a lot. Each one of them got their turn at the catalog, going through it. First, second, and third things that you wanted, something you wanted really bad. You would circle the picture and put a great big 1, 2, or 3, whatever it was on the picture. And you were really, really, you couldn't have been any more excited when those 3 things were under the tree because we were able to get them. We always saved. We saved. If we needed something really bad that we knew that you kids needed for Christmas, or say a pair of skates or something like that, and they're a little over our budget at the time, we would put aside a little bit or do without a little thing here or there. So we made sure we had the money to cover it. Nowadays, there's credit cards, there's, oh, I want a new chair. I got 15 chairs, but I need a new chair, but I like that one. So the heck with it, put it on my charge card. This marvelous thing that they have nowadays. The value isn't the same. And we saved up for it. And we made sure we got only what was needed and the kids wanted. That was the most important thing to us.
Right, because then you were putting the family together, but looking at your children, where now there's a whole lot more things and there's a whole lot more easier way to get access to things, shopping online, and then having, more options of how to pay. Yeah, so it is different that way. So thanks for answering that. It definitely has changed. So audience, how has this been resonating with you so far as the family dynamics? I always mention this. If you have a mom or dad or grandparents or great-grandparents with you, sit with them for a bit. Just sit and chat with them and understand where they came from, because at one point that has reflected or influenced you on some level of the generational stuff coming down. Now, does it have to if it doesn't feel good or negative? No, you can stop it and go, oh, I know where that came from. Let's change that belief. Let's reset that, and this is what I prefer now. You always have that power. But it's really cool to just understand some of where did you come from? How did you live? Just so you know that the progression of life as well. Do that if you have that opportunity, because you never know. When you're done here. For the physical experience, I believe that we continue on and stuff. So, whatever your belief says, it doesn't matter. The last question, Mama. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the personalities or the traits of each of your kids. So we have your oldest kid, Linda. Myself, Mariana, is a middle child. And yes, I'll be doing a podcast about middle child stuff because it does exist. It doesn't have to influence you too much, but it does exist. And then our youngest brother, Peter. So let's start with Linda. So what is just tell me a little bit of the personalities of Linda. Maybe, as a child, what was she like? And then what do you see her blossomed into now as an adult?
Oh my gosh, what can I say? Loving, caring, a sweet personality. And yet I'd have to say that about all my kids, because they're all the same. They're all...
Right.
They all have the same traits.
But what makes Linda Linda? When she was younger, what did you see the personality or the trait of her?
It's hard to say. She's just our first. We learned a lot through her, how to look after a child, what she expected. And
thank you, sis. And I've always told you this over the years, for being the first child, because they were probably the strictest with you and probably the most open as well, because they were learning. You set the bar for a lot of it that when I came along, they had already dealt with you on certain situations. So,
and you were her baby.
And she was very protective to me, yes. Linda then. She was protective, obviously. She would always babysit us three. I remember that. So she was always like not as strict, I found.
No. All your children were quiet, so quiet and happy and happy-go-lucky and just very easy to get along with, except you and your brother used to tear the place apart once in a while.
Yeah.
When you get playing and the playing got, so you made one another ugly. The fact that you chase each other into the bathroom door or something, but that is, as I say, always came with growing up. You know how kids will argue and go on, but there isn't anything that one wouldn't do for the other or stick up for them and fight for them. And I've noted a couple of occasions where Mariana has stuck up for Peter and Peter for her. In fact, the whole three of them and Linda, and she get in there and they'll stick up for one another, and they won't let anyone say anything bad against them. Or if they happen to be a little down day or something and they say the wrong thing, they make sure they straighten it out, make sure it's right, that they don't want to leave anyone with the wrong impression of a person.
I always remember just how close we were. And then I'd hear about other families where they're just, not close or mean or take things too personally or hold grudges and all that stuff. And I was just think, okay, well, that's your life path. But man, that's a challenge. Do we get along perfectly all the time? No. Do we agree on everything? No. But you know what? We love each other more than all of that. Way back then to now, like Linda's still the sort of protector of us all. Myself, I'm the adventurer as the middle child because I'm the only one that doesn't live close to them physically. And then Peter,
homebody.
Yeah. So I guess in general, we're so much alike, but we have our little own personalities. And I know it's a challenge sometimes for a parent to differentiate because you always want to see the good side. Linda's gentle, I'm more bold and to the point, and Peter's
matter of fact, he's just like
matter of factish.
Well,
stick to the facts.
Yeah, yeah, right.
So is there anything else that you wanted to share, Mother? Because we really appreciate your time with us today on this podcast. And is there anything else that in general you would like to say about family and the dynamics of our family?
Well, anything to do with family is if you have a family, you keep them, and if you have difficulties, you get rid of them and go talk it out to them, even if they don't like it. Talk it out if there's something that it's just an argument over something, but if there's you've got to stick beside your family. You don't have to, but I always figure your family is your family, and you have to treat it the way you want to be treated and treat them with respect and love them. The main thing is you have a lot of forgiving and loving to do, but it's your family. You're fortunate to have them. So
yes,
love them and do what you can for them while you can. And just love them. That's all the main thing. And stick by them, whatever they do, stick by them.
Yeah. And when that isn't right or that doesn't feel right anymore, then you don't. It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It could mean that you could love them from afar, but that doesn't mean if there's something that's not appropriate, that you don't have to put up with anything.
No.
Just knowing, again, that's the thing, is that you could just love people from and know their well-being and not have to be with them or around them. Yeah. Speaking from someone that has gone through stuff in her life, myself, that sometimes even when it comes to a marriage or whatever. So, but as far as like the family unit itself, our core family, our extended family, yes, love.
And respect.
Love and respect. That's right.
Love and respect.
There you go. thank you, Mom, for being on the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
It's so good to be here. So we'll just close up for right now. Take a moment to reflect on this show around living a dynamic life every day around the subject of family. What resources will you use from what we've shared today, and how will this be more uniquely yours by listening to what we've said and then doing what you prefer? Maybe something we said or something different, which is good. And what will you become from this? We can't wait to hear about it. Please send us in your feedback on how family dynamics and what family dynamics means to you. So what now? We challenge you to take action, share this episode with someone who may need it, or explore our past recordings to keep the discussions alive. Your dynamic journey doesn't stop here. There's so much more waiting for you. So we invite you to follow, subscribe, share, support, shift. And speaking of supporting, we support you in your journey as well. Visit dynamicshow.info or dynamicseries.com to dive into our resources, including being able to subscribe to the show. All materials shared on this show are copyrighted and meant for informational purposes only. So until we meet again, thank you for tuning into this dynamic show. Again, thank you, Mother Rhoda.
Welcome.
And align with your dynamic well-being every day. And Mom, what we say at the end is make it a dynamic day.
Make it a dynamic day.
Perfect. Bye for now. Thank you.